thank you for giving an opportunity to, to share this inauguration moment and to congratulate all ladies on the upcoming 8th of March International Women's Day. I guess I will just start off by saying that each of us goes through the seasons of change in our life, right? The season of beginning, the season of stretching, the season of stability, and then slowly but definitely the season of transition comes into play. And normally this season comes when we feel capable, when we feel, that we are performing high, and we earn trust and respect. Everything looks, fine from the outside, right? But internally, something is shifting within us. Internally, we start feeling the subtle tension, and that subtle tension, by the way, can anybody relate to that, to those seasons of change? If I saw faces, that would have been easier, but okay, I understand. So, the transition, thank you, Tabitha, I think that you, at least you reacted, right? The phase of transition, it feels a bit awkward, or not exactly awkward, but it feels very, we start sensing the subtle tension, as if we are, once the shoe which we used to wear, which perfectly fit us, now we start sensing that it kind of started feeling tight. And that transition phase, and I think many of us are now at that phase of life, that transition phase is a powerful moment because it forces the question and actually the decision making. Do I stay where I am respected and comfortable, or do I actually grow into something bigger and perhaps disrupt the familiar things and go beyond my comfort zone? And this is exactly the phase where us females, we actually, given our analytical nature, we start assessing, reviewing, and then we delay the decision making. And some of us actually then get stuck at that phase. And there are various reasons behind that, because we internalize various types of limitations. And the 3 barriers that I've seen repeated globally, I want to talk about those. And those barriers, like the very first one is that I call the loyalty lock. The second one is the am I good enough mindset barrier. And the third one is the courage gap for self-advocacy. And let me start off with the loyalty lock. Why this is more, specific to us, to females, is because we care relationships, right? We are very much loyal employees. We create those inclusive environments. And when we love the team, we love the manager, we love the company, we kind of tend to stick to that team, even sometimes at the expense of our own growth, right? And I can relate to that experience because that brings me back to my earlier career life in the company, where I used to work in the business development team. And I was in that team from its inception. We had a very strong, very, very, united team. We went through a couple of transformations together. We navigated the uncertainty together. We celebrated birthdays and promotions and other, personal events together. And we developed this bond beyond the office walls. And when the very first international opportunity presented itself, I paused. And interestingly enough, I paused not to ask the question, am I ready to pursue that opportunity? I actually paused, and the question I asked of myself was, how will the team do without me? Maybe the wrong question they asked, but anyways, I felt emotional, to be honest, and I felt kind of not ready. And applying for that job felt like as if I was betraying my team. So did I apply for that job? Well, ultimately, no, I didn't. I let that opportunity pass. But the truth is that life actually moved on. The company evolved, the team expanded, managers moved, and I then realized that I actually missed out on my growth leadership opportunity. But to make this even experience worse, my manager back then, David, he actually reached out to me and said, "Dillyara, I actually expected you to apply for that role because I thought that that was a very good growth opportunity for you and I advocated for you." And at that very moment, I realized that there were no barriers for me to pursue that leadership opportunity except for one, me. So my loyalty lock kept me away from my growth opportunity, but I learned that lesson, yes, the hard way, but never repeated it in my career life. So the second barrier is the "am I good enough" mindset. This barrier actually, it's not specific or unique to us females because males also experience the same phenomena, right? But because of our perfectionist kind of mindset and nature, I think we females, we kind of get stuck with that mindset more than males. For example, if you are looking for a job opportunity and you are reviewing the suitable job opportunity, you are reviewing the scope, the selection criteria, and then when you notice that you actually match 6 or 7 selection criteria out of 10, what do we ladies do? Do we apply for the role? Well, maybe some, but the majority of us start negotiating with ourselves, start over-assessing, over-analyzing, and actually ultimately taking the decision not to pursue that opportunity because that wasn't a perfect match. Whereas our male colleagues, they actually apply confidently and decisively, leaving us behind with our, doubt and, with our own doubt and hesitation. And then another barrier comes into play, and that's the courage gap for self-advocacy. And this one is a paradoxical one because we female, we are actually fearless advocates when it comes to advocate for somebody else, right? We advocate for our team members, for our teams, for our peers. But when it comes down to advocate for ourselves, what happens? We kind of freeze, right? We stumble, we start trying to find the right words. The ask becomes tentative, the voice becomes soft, and we sound like this, can we someday discuss the career development opportunities? And of course, that ask conveys what? Conveys hesitation and conveys doubt. That ask does not convey confidence, the essential quality required for the leadership role. So, those are the barriers, but of course, this is not the way to go forward, right? This is the International Women's Day, and we want to move forward. And the solution to how to move forward, let me offer the 3C framework, which I've been using throughout different seasons of change throughout my life. The first one is clarity. The second one is confidence and courage. And the third one is communication. And let me start off with clarity. Before you go and ask for more, may I ask you to please pause and ask yourself of 3 questions. Who am I at this life stage? Second one, what I value and what I want next. And very much important, ask yourself why it matters. What are my drivers? What is my why? And once you get clear on your what and on your drivers, on your why, that fuels and ignites your inner fire. And that inner fire will boost and fuel your confidence. And obviously, definitely, your confidence will summon your courage so that you can you would be able to articulate your life vision, your career purpose clearly with confidence and courage, backing up with your performance results and achievements. So the second one is confidence and courage. I slightly touched upon that. But when I say confidence, ladies, I do not mean arrogance. And when I say courage, of course, I do not mean aggression. All this means is you owning your performance results, you owning your personal development and your career development, you having the courage not to assume that somebody else will figure out for you your potential. You take full responsibility for your own career development. And lastly, C, communication. You know, this one is where your impact either lands or dissolves. And to make sure that your impact lands properly well, I suggest that you proactively you communicate strategically and broadly. What does that mean? That means that you reach out to your supervisor, to your manager, to your mentor, and you clearly articulate your life vision, your career aspirations, and with passion and clarity and confidence and courage, so that they have you in mind when the right opportunity arises. Because you know what? Leadership is never ever a solo act. Leadership requires allies and support. Next, offer yourself to lead some impactful cross-functional projects or support cross-functional projects. That would give you an opportunity to deepen your knowledge of your enterprise value chain. And that would give you an opportunity to, to spotlight, to get more exposure and visibility across your organization. Join your organization's professional community or the relevant LinkedIn community and build authentic networks. When I say authentic networks, I mean that build those relationships with the generosity mindset. That means that when you give any advice or insight or anything that you can give without necessarily anticipating something back immediately. Because you know what, when you approach that with the generosity mindset, people do feel and sense that. And people do tend to mirror back that generosity. And that can come back with, new doors opening up, with new opportunities coming your way, or new partnerships or collaborations coming your way that you might be interested in. And if there's any key takeaway from my today's talk, I would like you to remember this. Don't wait until you are noticed. Don't wait until you are chosen. Choose yourself. And choose yourself consciously, owning your performance results, owning your personal development, owning your career development. So never assume that somebody will figure out your potential for you. So communicate strategically and broadly, and articulate your life vision, your career aspiration, and your why with your passion, with clarity, confidence, and courage, so that there is no space left for any doubt that women belong in leadership. Thank you.